Next on Northwest Outdoors, bring nature to your backyard. First, we visit a backyard wildlife habitat in central Washington.
The basic thing is providing the things that are necessary, the food, water, shelter, and a place to raise the young.
There's the swallows down past house number 10.
Then the winter beauty of Idaho's Priest Lake as we go fishing for Mackinac. Your Northwest Outdoors is next.
This is the one we're looking for. Look at the colors on that. Look at the orange and the white in it too. Look how thick it is across the back.
Broadcast of Northwest Outdoors is made possible in part by O'Loughlin Trade Shows. Puyallup, Portland, and the Denver Trade Shows are proud supporters of public television throughout Washington State, placing an emphasis on education for the great outdoors. By New Holland Tractors of Yakima. With a full line of tractors to fill every need, New Holland Tractors have been supporting Central Washington farmers for over 55 years. And by Kershaw Knives of Portland, Oregon. Makers of precision tools and cutlery, Kershaw Knives continues to support outdoor programming and outdoor activities throughout the Pacific Northwest. Most folks have a bird feeder or two in their backyard, and as a result, a few visiting birds is all that stop by on a given day. But in the backyard of Larry and Doris Robinson, a couple of bird feeders just isn't enough. Located in the Nile Valley just outside of Yakima, this couple has turned their yard into a certified backyard wildlife habitat. There are 5 such habitats in Yakima County, and over 20,000 in North America. Certified by the National Wildlife Federation, the Robinsons have created a sanctuary for all kinds of wildlife, including many species of birds, butterflies, squirrels, lizards, and even an occasional coyote or elk.
The basic thing is providing the things that are necessary, the food, water, shelter, and a place to raise the young. I think one of the things that is the most helpful for people that are really interested is to start out by reading books or subscribe to a magazine, you know, such as Birdwatcher's Digest or Birds in Blooms. They tell you how to do so much of this. They give you lists of flowers that are loved by birds and butterflies and all kinds of habitat.
The National Wildlife Federation began the program in the early 70s and is designed to acknowledge the efforts of people who are gardening for wildlife around their homes, from small gardens to large lots. Doris is the gardener in the family, while Larry tends to the bird feeders.
Yeah, Larry's passion is the birds, and of course I enjoy them just as much, but he does most of the work with the birds. And my passion is growing flowers, which I dearly love, and have grown most everything from seed that I can. And I grow a lot of the common things, like everything from petunias to marigolds to zinnias, but I also grow things like Nephafia and Physostesia and Veronica and Agastache and Rudbeckia and Gaillardia and Platycodon, and you name it, I have it just about.
Besides spending about $500 a year for birdseed, Larry spends a lot of his time making the feeders and houses from scratch. With many original designs and borrowed blueprints from magazines, the flying visitors have many choices to find feed and raise their young. Larry has also made a home for bats and created a pheasant shelter.
After seeing all the birds and looking at the price of bird feeders in some of the stores, I decided that it's a little easier to look at a picture, draw it on paper, and make my own style of feeder from a photograph or a drawing of somebody else's.
Since retiring and moving from Enumclaw, the Robinsons have been looking for some country peace and quiet after years of hard work. A morning of making the rounds of filling feeders and tending to the garden, they can sit back and enjoy the flights of their labor. Larry even keeps tab on the types of visitors to the yard.
With the journal, I go back to see whether the particular species of bird was either early, late, or...
When did the Bullock's Oriole come last year?
They didn't show up till July 16th.
Okay, it's July 10th. They should be here within a week or so then. There's Mama Bluebird.
Yeah, she's back on the feeder
On the mealworm
again.
feeder. She's going to feed those babies. Those babies are growing.
Yeah. Paws around probably somewhere. Well, I can't
It's
see
funny
the
how
top
they
of-
take turns.
Yeah, I can't
She'll
see
feed him, and then he comes down and he gets a bunch of worms and he feeds them. And
I can't see the top of the shed. He might be at the top of the shed.
yeah, they make it a family effort.
Yeah.
There's the squirrel getting into the peanuts.
Yeah.
I hear a pine siskin peeping. Pine siskins are everywhere now. I think there's lots of babies around. We have more baby birds this year than I think we ever had.
Yeah.
It's been a really good year for them.
Yeah, they've already cleaned all the berries out of the serviceberry bush.
Did I tell you last night there was actually 3 hummingbirds on this feeder and they weren't fighting. They were all 3 eating at once instead of trying to run each other off.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Cassin's finch and some pine siskins down in the trays.
You too can enjoy the type of backyard habitat as the Robinsons by following some simple guidelines. The first thing you'll need is food. Try adding shrubs and trees that provide fruits and seeds throughout the year in your area. You'll also need water. Maybe try just a pedestal-mounted bird bath. Shelter is important. Evergreen trees and shrubs add year-round protective cover from weather and predators. Another thing to consider are places to raise young. Nest boxes for bird species in your area are good additions. If you want additional information, you're welcome to call the National Wildlife Federation at 503-230-0421.
This is retirement at the ultimate.
Welcome to Priest Lake, Idaho, considered one of the best sport fishing lakes in the Northwest. Northwest Outdoors headed to this remote gem located on the northern tip of Idaho in the middle of the Panhandle National Forest. Mackinaws, or what most anglers call lake trout, are the reason people fish Priest Lake. One of the guides that enjoys fishing here is Rich Lindsay of Blue Ribbon Charters. We spent the morning with Lindsay to see firsthand how much fun it is to fish for the mighty Mackinaw.
Well, let's see, the fish I'm marking right now are at 160 feet, so I got my downrigger set at 150, so I'm right in their face. You got to stay close to them. They won't leave the bottom. They won't travel great distances. They'll follow it for a long ways across the bottom. I mean, you might have a Mac chase you for 100 yards or 200 yards. You can see them on the graph swimming along on the bottom there, and they won't bite it. So you got to stay down close to them once in a while. One of my tips, I don't tell too many people this, is when I see fish following my gear, I'll hit the throttle on my motor, speed it up, go real fast for just a second, and slow down, and most of the time it works. Our conditions today are just pretty near ideal. We've got light to no wind at all. We have no other boat traffic. God, isn't that just cool? Temperature is what, about freezing? 20 degrees to 32 degrees, somewhere around there, and it's warming up. The fish are active. Got lots of fish on the graph. I think they'll get a little more active here as the morning progresses.
Using downrigger gear and a combination of dodgers and hoochies, it didn't take Rich long to hook up his first fish.
Hey, we're hooked up. Oh, I was wrong. I thought the other rod was going to go off. He's putting the brakes on, though. Look at this. Isn't this just gorgeous out here? You know, this fish here, he feels like he's probably in the 4-pound class. And these are the smallest fish that we're going to catch. You just don't catch them any smaller than that out here. Most of your fish will run anywhere from 4 to 12 on the average. On our mature fish, our bigger fish, you're looking at 12 to 35. We got a 45-pounder on January 10th this year, and here he is. Yeah, that's an average everyday fish. You can catch this size fish here all day long, every day. Every single day of the week, all year long. What do you think of that? All day, every day. Hey, you see what we caught that on? Flatfish. Let's get him unhooked and get him back in the water. Oh my gosh, I think this is better than the last one. I've been running Blue Ribbon Charter since 1974. Gosh, it doesn't seem like it's been that long. Oh, this is a little bitty guy. Little tiny guy, just a squirt. Bait. There he is. Look at that. What a chubby little fella, huh? Missed him. Dang, hate that. Oh, he's a lot better than the one we had before. Oh boy. It's fresh out here, isn't it? Very fresh. You can see the wind's kicked up, and well, you can really feel that temperature change. Major change in temperature. Yeah, I don't know. We might be 6, maybe 8 pounds here. Here he comes. A typical day fishing with me on my Blue Ribbon Charters, I like to start you out first light. Whoa! Just a little guy. These are babies. But I bet you we're the only one catching fish out here today. We got awful tough conditions. Awful tough. How's that? That's bait for the ones we want to catch. We're not having much luck on the giants today, but I think we're doing great considering the situation with this cold front blowing in on us. See you next time, pal. I've learned over the years guiding and being on the water every day is don't give up. There's no big secret to what I do or what anybody else that's successful at catching these fish does. The main ingredients are patience and persistence, perseverance. Stay with it. You know, if you find fish on your graph, stay with them. You'll get them to go. You just can't give up. A lot of these fish we've been catching here, we've only marked 1 or 2 of them. The rest of them are coming in from a long ways off, and they're coming in from behind our boat here, and they're grabbing this stuff, and we're not marking them. So that's telling me a lot right there. These fish are hungry. They're looking for something to eat. I know that this rod right over here is going to bounce. I just know it. There he is. Oh yeah, that's a nice fish. I like fishing lake trout all year long. They're one of my favorite fish. They're consistent. They're real aggressive. Springtime and fall on Coeur d'Alene and the chain lakes, real good bass and pike fishing. I really enjoy that. Hayden Lake, we got nice big rainbows, good large and smallmouth bass, crappie, and there's some huge pike in Hayden. Look at this, here comes our fish. They like that little blue hoochie, don't they? Yeah, let's get him up here. There we go. There he is. Another baby. Oh. Oh, what a blast. Look at this, look at this. I mean, it doesn't get any nicer unless the fish get bigger. Boy, this is a tough little guy. People say lake trout don't fight. It's a different fight. These guys don't fight like a rainbow or a salmon. They're not the speedsters. They're kind of like a halibut, a big halibut. They pull. Boy, they pull. All right, for you do-it-yourselfers out there that got your own gear, your own boats and things, I'm going to show you some things on catching lake trout that I use that'll work anywhere lake trout swim. From Lake Tahoe in California to Ponderay, Priest Lake in Idaho, clear up into the Northwest Territories. One of them's a T50, T60, flatfish, excellent lures. You can fish them slow. Lake trout love a slow retrieve. I remove the forward hook. One of my main reasons for doing that is to protect the fish. I've got less stuff there to worry about hurting that fish. 2, it doesn't snag up on the bottom near as much. You don't drag up as much trash. One of my other favorites is a Dodger and a Hoochie. Sometimes I'll use a bigger Dodger and a bigger Hoochie. This particular setup right here, I caught a 30-pound fish on 3 weeks ago. One of my clients did. A little teeny tiny Hoochie like that. I run this at about 1.5 miles per hour, and I set it about 6 to 8 feet behind the ball. Just set her up behind there. Sometimes I'll scent that up with a little shrimp oil. One of my other favorites is smelly jelly. This is nightcrawler flavored smelly jelly. Sometimes I'll put a strip of cut bait on there or a nightcrawler. Anything for smell. These lake trout love scent. And trust me, it works. You guys have seen us catching fish here. We're going to catch some more fish today. And it's effective. On other lures that are sensitive to having something hanging on the hooks, straight smelly jelly or shrimp oil, I put it right on the lure, just like that. Smear it around on both sides. It's not going to hurt anything. Put it on there. Those fish love it. This is a Sutton spoon. It's real flexible. It's very light. You can fish it extremely slow. For those days when, like today, these fish haven't wanted anything on a fast retrieve today, so this right here would have been a good choice. When I'm running more than 2 lines in the boat, I'll run spoons. They have a tendency to run in a straight line, and they don't crisscross over each other, and they don't tangle up near as much. That's a slow running spoon there. This is a little heavier spoon, as both of these are, and I can run these at higher speeds. These will run up to 3, even 4 knots. They'll cook right along, and that's usually for fish that I find that are stacking up on rock points, things like that are hitting school bait, like kokanee or or whitefish or things like that. They're used to having something ripping, trying to get away from them. These high-speed spoons work real well for that. Other than that, I think, well, I don't know what else I can tell you. Lake trout are real aggressive. They're easy to catch if you can locate them, and if you'll have some confidence in your techniques. And like I said earlier, persistence and patience really pays off. And if you can locate the fish with your fish finder, you know they're lake trout, stay with them. Keep making your presentations. Sooner or later, it's going to pay off. You're going to get some nice fish.
One can tell Lindsay truly enjoys the beauty and science involved with fishing. But what he really loves is the quality time he gets to spend with his daughter Jenny, who goes fishing with Dad every chance she gets.
I've gotten my daughter involved in the fishing, and she's been coming out on the boats with me since she was about 4, maybe 6 months old. A lot of times she'll tell me, Dad, there's a bite, hurry up, get over here. And some of my proudest moments has been watching her bring in her own fish. The first fish she got to catch all by herself. That was as much an accomplishment for me as it was for her. I know there was a lot of pride for both of us. It's a way to be close with your kids. I mean, it's an activity that everybody in the family can participate in. It's good, whoa, here we go. It's good, clean, healthy fun. And you're not gonna get in trouble out here. This is a nice fish. Nobody's gonna get in trouble when they're going fishing. I know my dad got me started when I was a kid. I can remember when I was 5 years old catching my first fish. It was a bluegill. We're fishing with worms and a bobber. I've been hooked for life, and I'll never quit. Whoa. This is the one we're looking for. This fish here didn't bite any different than the rest of them. Didn't bite any different. What I look for is a change in the vibration on the rod tip. I use those long releases off the ball, which makes the sensitivity magnified. It lets me see everything that's going on down there. And when I see a change in the rod tip, most of the time, when I see that vibration change, I pull it loose off the release. There's a fish. This guy is really taking a bunch of line. I don't know how big he is. I don't think he's as huge as I'd like him to be. I don't think he's over 10 or 12 pounds. But he's sure got he's got some horsepower. When he wants to move, he goes. He's coming up pretty easy now. We're gonna get a look at him here pretty, oh, there he is, look at that. See him down there? That's a nice fish, Rick. Oh yeah, look at him. Woohoo! He's not a monster, but he's a nice fish. Look at that. There he goes. Who says lake trout are fun? Oh, that's a nice fish. Look at him. Yeah, he's over 10. Whoa. Look at there. Look at that. They are such pretty fish. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the way those fish are built. Look at the shoulders on them. Aren't these things gorgeous? Look at the colors on that fish. Look at the orange and the white in its fins. Look how thick it is across the back. These are just gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Let's put her back, shall we? Okay, here we go. All right, look at that, man. That's what it's all about. I love these kind of days. I get to catch all the fish.
Fishing for lake trout can be fun and challenging with the right setup. Rich recommends using downriggers with light steelhead gear, and the lures of choice are dodgers and hoochies. Averaging 4 to 12 pounds, fishing for max on Priest Lake is available all year round. You're allowed a 2-fish limit except from the end of November to mid-April, when catch and release is enforced. Remember to bring warm clothes because the temperature on the lake can drop quickly. Go online with Northwest Outdoors and learn more how to build a wildlife habitat or go lake trout fishing. Click on to www.northwestoutdoors.org.